Welcome to NFL Nexus. We've got a huge one for you today. The New England Patriots are standing at a major crossroads, and we are going to break down their massive offseason strategy as a brand new era kicks off. So if you're ready to really get into the weeds on this team's future, do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single bit of our analysis. Okay, so a new era has officially begun in New England. With Mike Vrabel taking the helm, you have to realize the Patriots are at this massive turning point. Every single move they make, every move, is going to be under a microscope. We're not just talking about a new season here. This is the dawn of a completely new identity for a team that, let's be honest, was defined by one guy for more than 20 years. So let's really dive in and explore what this new era could actually look like. All right, here's our game plan for today's explainer. First, we'll set the stage with the new regime. Then we're going to get into those explosive receiver rumors swirling around A.J. Brown and Stephon Diggs. After that, we'll pivot to where games are really won, the defense, looking at their foundational needs. We'll even profile 3 key draft prospects who could become the new heart of that defense. And finally, we'll put all the pieces together to map out the Patriots' path forward. So the main theme for this whole offseason, it's simple, but man, is it complex. It all boils down to this. How do you build a team that actually reflects Mike Vrabel's identity? Look, this is so much more than just plugging talented players into roster spots. This is about establishing a whole new culture from the ground up, a new way of doing business in Foxborough. And that leads to the big question, right? What kind of players are going to define these new Patriots? Well, the answer, or maybe the first major clue, it starts with a very familiar face from Vrabel's past. A connection so strong that it's fueling some major trade speculation and giving us our first real peek into the mind of the man in charge. The rumor mill is absolutely buzzing, linking the Eagles' superstar receiver A.J. Brown to a potential reunion with his old coach in New England. Now, it's easy to just wave this off as, typical off-season chatter. But to really get the weight of this, we've got to look past the headlines. We need to analyze Mike Vrabel's own words. Okay, listen really closely to the specific words Vrabel uses here. He says grow, mature, proud. This isn't your standard coach speak about a guy's 40 time or his route running ability. No. This language is personal. It's almost paternal, And boom, he just doubles down on it right here. He points specifically to Brown's growth as a man, as a father, as a husband. And then he says it has nothing to do with where he plays. That's the key. This signals a relationship that goes way beyond the football field. It's a full-on endorsement of the person, not just the athlete. This is a mentor talking about his protege. And this quote right here, this just confirms that the connection is alive and well. It's current, a two-way street of support. That's not just some fond memory from their time in Tennessee. This is a living, breathing bond that could seriously be the foundation for a franchise-altering trade. So here's the bottom line. When you really break down these quotes, Vrabel is painting this crystal clear picture of his ideal foundational player. He wants someone he has a deep, trusting, personal bond with. He's not just talking about A.J. Brown here. He is telegraphing the exact template for the kind of guy he wants to build his new Patriots team around. It's all about character and connection first. Now, this is where the picture gets really sharp. Let's contrast everything he said about A.J. Brown with the situation involving Stephon Diggs, a Pro Bowl receiver who's already on the roster. When Vrabel was asked about his future, well, the tone, the language, the entire vibe, it was completely different. Just notice the language here. It's all past tense. What he was able to do, come in and provide leadership. He worked extremely hard. This sounds like an end-of-year performance review, like a project's over. It's professional, it's respectful for sure, but it focuses entirely on what Diggs did for the team last season. It's basically a summary of services rendered, not a ringing endorsement for the future. And there are other pretty significant factors that are making this whole thing complicated. His performance on the field was solid. He led the team in receiving. But his contract, that non-guaranteed base salary, that gives the front office a ton of flexibility. And then you've got the elephant in the room, a very serious looming legal situation that's still unresolved. And here's Vrabel's response to the legal question. It's, as you'd expect, distant and procedural. It is the standard, carefully worded organizational line. Let the process run its course. Notice what's missing? There's no personal defense, no character endorsement. It's the language of risk management, not the language of unwavering support. And when you put them side by side like this, wow, it's just a night and day contrast, isn't it? On one side, you've got the A.J. Brown relationship. It's personal. It's almost paternal. The words Vrabel uses are all about pride, growth, supporting the man behind the jersey. But then you flick over to the Stefan Diggs situation. It's professional. It feels transactional. The language is all about performance reviews, past contributions, and legal process. It's about the player. The subtext here, it's screaming at you, right? One guy sounds like a foundation piece, a cornerstone for the future. The other sounds like an asset, an entry on a spreadsheet being evaluated with cold, hard calculus.
So while figuring out the receiver room is definitely a high priority, let's be real. Elite weapons can only take you so far. We all know championships, especially in the AFC, are built on dominant defense. And that is why, for all the chatter about offensive firepower, the new Patriots front office has made their true top priority crystal clear: rebuilding that defensive core.
So check out this key quote from the de facto GM, Elliott Wolf. And yeah, on the slide here, he's talking about edge rushers, but in his press conference, he spent a lot of time talking about the need for an off-ball linebacker, a new quarterback of the defense. They want a guy to pair up with a veteran like Robert Spillane and become the new signal caller. This tells you they're making a deliberate shift to fortify the very heart of their defense. So the big question is, who could actually fill that critical role? Well, the upcoming draft class has several really intriguing options that seem to fit that mold of a tough, smart, cerebral Vrabel-style player. Let's break down 3 of the most compelling prospects right now. First up, we've got Torian York from Texas A&M. This guy is known all throughout college football as just an exceptional leader, a team captain, the guy everyone rallies around. But he is absolutely adamant that he wants to prove to the entire NFL that he is much, much more than just a great locker room guy. You can just hear the chip on his shoulder in that quote, can't you? He's completely fueled by this idea that he's being underestimated, that people are scrutinizing his physical measurables more than his actual on-field production and his football IQ. And that mentality, that constant drive to prove the doubters wrong, man, that is a classic, quintessential Patriots trait. Okay, next up, Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. And if Torian York is the underdog leader, well, Rodriguez is the undisputed top dog. He is widely, and I mean widely, considered the best inside linebacker in this draft class. And his trophy case more than backs up that claim. Just look at this resume for a second. He swept the major defensive awards, the Bednarik, the Butkus, and the Nagurski. That is almost unheard of. His production is just silly. 128 tackles, 7 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions. The guy was so dominant, he finished 5th in the Heisman voting as a defensive player. And here's the kicker. He's already studying the team. He told reporters he thinks Robert Spillane had a fantastic season last year. The kid's doing his homework.
All right, our third prospect is Lander Barton out of Utah. And his value comes from a trait the Patriots have historically prized above almost everything else: incredible versatility. This guy is the definition of a football player, not just a linebacker.
He didn't just play linebacker. Get this. He actually moonlighted as a tight end for Utah. Just think about that for a second. He understands offensive blocking schemes from the perspective of the guy trying to actually execute them. That kind of multi-positional understanding, that holistic football IQ, that is exactly the sort of chess piece that championship defenses are built with. So when you lay them all out like this, you start to see 3 very distinct paths the Patriots could take to find their new defensive quarterback. They could go for the motivational, high-character core with a guy like York. They could go for the proven, day-one, plug-and-play star in Rodriguez. Or they could opt for the versatile, high-IQ Swiss Army knife, that ultimate chess piece in Barton. Each one tells a totally different story about their priorities. So what does all this tell us when we start putting the pieces together? The receiver rumors, Vrabel's very specific language, what the front office says their needs are, the types of guys they're likely looking at in the draft. These aren't just random bits of off-season info. They are all pieces of a much larger puzzle. It seems like the blueprint for the Mike Vrabel-era Patriots is clearly starting to emerge. Step 1, you establish a culture of trust. You do that by prioritizing players with whom you have deep personal bonds, guys like A.J. Brown. Step 2, you make calculated, unsentimental decisions on the talent you already have, like the situation with Stefan Diggs. Step 3, you build the core of your team through the draft by targeting tough, intelligent defensive cornerstones. And Step 4, you value character above all else. You go find leaders and guys with that classic chip on their shoulder. And it all leads to this final critical question. For this rebuild, what is the most important first move for this new era in New England? Is it acquiring a trusted, elite offensive weapon to build your team around? Or is it drafting a brand new defensive quarterback to be the heart of this team for the next 10 years? Which move is the true cornerstone? I want to know what you think is the priority, so let me know down in the comments below. And hey, if you're looking for a great way to help support the channel, check out our new coloring books. They're perfect for children, grandchildren, and yeah, even adults. You can find them using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching.